So I'm a pretty staunch supporter of Euro games, and with that comes an inherent dislike for dice. So why, oh why, do game designers keep trying to throw dice into my Euro games? Well, on that subject, the game I'm looking at today is Trois. It's published by Z-Man Games. It plays 2 to 4 players and plays in about hour and a half to 2 hours per play. The reason I picked this game up is it got a lot of buzz last year, and yes, I was really put off by the dice. I've played other Euro-ish games like Kingsburg and Alien Frontiers, and they didn't really do it for me, and Trois, yeah, I've had a really bad vibe about it, but it apparently was a medium to heavyweight game, and I just can't pass that up, so I gave it a shot. So let's take a look at my meager attempts to explain this game. Oh, and on that note, this is one of those games where it is almost impossible to coherently explain to someone the first time they play. But once you've gotten through an entire game and you go to play it again, it seems so streamlined and so simple. It's just getting through that first explanation. So I apologize for how obtuse this explanation is going to be. It is the best I tried. Yeah, good luck. Here's the basic setup for a 2-player game. The goal of the game is to acquire as many victory points as possible. A unique mechanic to this game is these 3 buildings. Each of these grant you a certain amount of dice depending on how many people you have in each of these at the beginning of each round. At the beginning of each round, a new stage of buildings is revealed. Players then receive an income, losing some of that based on how many people that they have in each of these 2 buildings. Players now get dice based on their presence in these buildings. So orange will get 4 white dice, 2 red. Blue will get 4 yellow dice and 2 red. And then the neutral gray player will get 2 white, 2 yellow, and 2 red. Now we reveal cards at the bottom of the board, which kind of represent an attacking army. So first off, I flip over a red card, and this card instructs me to also flip over a yellow card. And these represent things that I have to deal with right away. So right now I gotta put out 2 black dice, and I've also got to take 3 coins away from every player, and this is a recurring event that'll happen until this card is defeated. After each player has lost their coins, the start player, in this case blue, has to deal with at least one of these dice, and it has to be the highest one if they only deal with one. But I'm going to make this simple, and I'm going to have blue attack and defeat both these dice. So I need 9 to defeat, and so I'll simply go 5, 8, 9. Those are used. Black dice defeated. And woohoo! I won 2 influence points. This is the part of the game where the meat of the action happens. Players alternate turns, taking one of 6 possible actions. I'll quickly demonstrate how each action works. Before I do that though, I have to explain how influence works. Influence is tracked at the top of the board, and it can be used for one of 3 things. First, it can be used to acquire citizens for you. Citizens are these little guys, I always call them workers, and you don't have any to start. And you can acquire more by using 2 influence points. Another thing that influence can be used for is to re-roll your own dice. So I could spend 1 influence point to re-roll my yellow 1, and I have a 2. The final thing you can do with influence is you can spend 4 influence to flip over any 3 dice. And by flip over, it's by using the exact opposite side of 3 dice. So the first potential action that someone could take on their turn is to activate one of these activity cards. So for the blue player to do that, he would take an available citizen, and place it on the first spot. But he would have to be able to activate it at least once. So he pays 4 coins to actually get into this card, and then he has to use this ability. It says, for how many pips on your yellow dice you use, divided by 2, that's how many uses you get of this ability. So, if he used his yellow dice here, which is 4, divided by 2, that means he has 2 uses of getting 2 free coins. Now, a neat aspect to this game is you can actually buy other players' dice from them in order to use these abilities. So I could have actually bought 1 yellow die from my opponent and paid him 2 coins to use it. Another thing that players can do on their turn is build in the cathedral. Now, this space requires white dice, and as with any action in the game, you can only use up to 3. So I could go and place my 2, 3, and 5, and that would allow me to build in the 2, 3, and 5 spaces. This awards me certain bonuses based on what section I built in, and for the end of the game, whichever sections that I haven't built in, I will lose victory points. So it's something that's good to keep an eye on. Another action that can be done is combating the cards at the bottom of the board. The way this is done is you look at the requirements of each of these cards. So for this one, it says I need to use red dice divided by 3. So for my total of red dice, I can only use up to 3 dice. I'll get to conquer flags. So I have 9 here, and divided by 3, that makes 3. So my guy could then capture these 3 flags, get 3 victory points for doing so, and that would be his turn. The idea is that when a card gets completely filled in later turns, the card is defeated. And whoever has the most cubes gets the topmost amount of victory points, and the second place person gets the lower amount, and the card is removed. Now, remember how I said earlier that you could get dice based on the amount of men that you have in these 3 buildings? Well, whatever your actions that you could take is actually boot people out of the buildings so that you can get more dice in the future turns. So, in this building, I could spend like 1 white die in order to slide everyone over in this top column. And so now in the next turn, blue will have access to 1 white die. And the last real action that can be taken during the game is this space here, which simply grants you money based on the yellow dice that you have. So the game continues to play out pretty much exactly like this for a designated number of rounds based on the number of people that you're playing with. Now, the one extra aspect to this game is everyone gets a secret character card, and this gives you secret victory conditions for the end of the game. And the trick is these victory conditions apply to everyone else as well, but you're the only one who can see your own card. So for this guy, if I end the game with, say, 12 coins in my treasury, I'll actually get 3 extra victory points. So, Trois, it's a Euro with dice in it that don't treat their dice like dice. They are so non-random, like they have so much control around them that I don't care that they're in the game. I think they actually add that little bit of flavor that makes this a special type of Euro, and I am proud to have it in my collection. I would gladly play this game in tournaments. I'm that okay with them being in the game. I played this game with 4 players and with 2 players, and both of them work really well. And given that my main game partner is my girlfriend, that is a huge, huge bonus. Because most heavy Euro games that I play kind of require the 4 to 5 players. One thing that's really nice about this game is the turns are pretty quick. Unlike a lot of games where it's like it's one person's turn and they do a whole bunch of stuff, and then it's the next person's turn, each person gets to take one single action, and then it's the next player's turn. so there isn't a huge amount of just waiting around. I also like the variability in the game. There's, for each of the three colors of buildings, the white, the yellow, and the red, there's three different stages of cards that come out. And for each of those three stages, there's actually three different types of those cards that can be brought out each game. So yeah, just the setup of each game is random. You're pretty unlikely to have the exact same setup in future games. So in the end, I strongly recommend Trois if you are into the type of game where it's really thinky, it kind of hurts to make decisions. It's not for a light gamer. It's gonna involve, four guys sitting around the table, living inside their heads, and a lot of people don't like that, but that's for this guy. So get it. Z-Man Games has hit it out of the park again. I'm a huge fan. See you later.